Good evening. It was mid-afternoon when the notification from
Our
the
first
doorbell
look tonight at
camera
the arrest
went
of
off.
a
What it
Real
showed was
Housewives
masked men
cast
forcing
member
their
on
way
Palm
into a
Beach.
home near Mississauga Road in the 403. What it didn't show is a
In the
family
video,
who say they are now
Luann
living
is heard
in
telling
fear.
cops to
CTV's
let her
Allison
out
spoke with the
and
family
then
this
going to kill them.
afternoon and
She
joins
then
us now
tries to
live with the
escape from her
latest.
handcuffs.
Allison.
The 52-year-old was charged with
Right,
disorderly
Peel police say that officers are still
battery on an
canvassing
officer,
the area, still
arrest,
looking for
and threatening
security
the public
footage and
service.
trying to piece together
Our
where the
first look
suspects
tonight at
came
the
from
arrest of a
and where they
Real
went when they
Housewives
left.
cast member on
A blue
Palm
SUV
Beach.
pulls into the driveway and a person in plaid with a blue medical mask knocks
In
on
the
the
video,
door several
Luann
times before
Deleseth
leaving.
is heard
Minutes later,
telling
what
cops
looks like
to
the same
let her
car
out
returns and
and
two
she's going
people
to
get
kill
out.
them.
One wearing the
She then
same
tries
shirt
to
but with a
escape
hood
from her
and a different
handcuffs.
face covering.
The 52-year-old was
They
charged
break
with
in the door.
disorderly intoxication,
Shortly after, a third person
battery on
joins,
an officer,
and the car drives away.
That's
and
when they
threatening the
disconnected
public
the
service.
Wi-Fi, so we don't have any recording beyond.
Rajendra Prasad was at work and rushed home when he saw what was happening on his security camera around 2:50 yesterday afternoon. He entered his home with a neighbor when he was sure no one was inside.
Everything is on the floor everywhere. Every single room, every single washroom, even the drawers and cabinets, even in the washrooms, they are all open. In the rooms, every drawer has been opened and thrown upside down on the floor.
His daughter Sugand Gupta was out and his wife had left the house just before the break-in. The only one home was the family dog Mitzi.
My bed cover was covered. There was blood marks, there was urine, there was very clearly something had happened to her.
Gupta took Mitzi to the vet.
I'm still really afraid for her. We still have to keep a watch if she was drugged, and she's not herself. Yeah, and she's my child. She's everything to me.
Despite being called around 3:15 yesterday afternoon, Peel police did not arrive until just after 8 a.m. this morning.
When I read the call initially, I wasn't very happy with what I read either.
When all is said and done,
Peel police say
our
it's
own
uncommon for a call like this
existence
to wait
is
so
an
long, but
experiment
yesterday
of
there were several
nature,
calls happening
an
at the time,
attempt at a
and two
new
are still on the
synthesis.
go.
It's violating, and no one should have to
While
wait.
Carl Jung is best
Unfortunately, in this
known
case,
for his ideas
or
on the
fortunately, depending on how you
unconscious,
look at it,
be it
no
his
one
theory of
present
the
in the
archetypes
behavior
or
has
his writings on the
ceased.
shadow
So in that
side
case,
of man,
we can
Jung was first
can
and
put this
foremost
ball
a practicing
aside to
psychologist.
prioritize things that are happening now.
Throughout his voluminous
Visible
writings, one
scratch
can
marks can
find
be seen on the
many
family's front
practical
door, and
tips
Prasad
on
says
how
he
to
had to
live a
secure it
better
overnight
life.
so they could sleep.
And in
He
this
says the
video, we
suspects
are
not
going
only
to
disabled the
explore this
Wi-Fi,
side of
Pulled
Jung's
down all
work,
of this.
but also
focusing our
ripped the
attention
PVR
on
box
his
out of the wall
favored
that held the
method of
security camera recording.
self-development,
The family
which he
just
called
wants to
the
feel safe
process
again.
of
Safe is
individuation.
the fact that the police weren't able to
To
come because
individuate
so much crime
is to
was happening and so many other
self-realize with
people
the
were in
aim of
distress
moving
that it
toward
took them this long
psychological
to arrive.
wholeness.
That's scary.
Wholeness
Say they're
is an
looking for at
ideal
least 4
state
suspects.
wherein all our latent potentials are
Prasad tells us
actualized,
that about a week
and all the
before
elements
this
of our
break-in happened, he
unconscious
saw
brought
someone
to the light of
standing outside his home
consciousness
flying a drone
and
over his
integrated
property. So he called
harmoniously
police
into
to
our
report it.
character
He asked the
structure.
police about that, and they
In
don't
the
believe
brevity
two
of a
incidents
human
were
life,
connected.
we can
Reporting live
only
on Allison
ever
versus
approach,
Threat.
but never
Thank you,
fully
Allison.
reach, the condition of psychological wholeness. But moving in this direction generates fulfillment and leads to the cultivation of a character that is rooted in our individuality, and which archetypes or his writings on the shadow side of man. Jung was first and foremost a practicing psychologist. Throughout his When all is writings, said and done, one can find many our own practical existence tips on is an how to live a experiment better of life. nature. An And in attempt this video, at a we are new going to synthesis. explore this side of Jung's work, while Carl focusing our Jung is best attention on known his for his favored method ideas of on the self-development, unconscious, be it which his he theory called of the the archetypes process or of his writings on the individuation. shadow side of man. Jung To was individuate first and foremost is to self-realize with with the aim of moving toward psychological Throughout his voluminous wholeness. writings, one can Wholeness find many is an practical ideal tips state on how to wherein live all a our better latent life. potentials are And actualized. in this video, we are going and to all the explore elements this of our side of unconscious Jung's work, brought to the light focusing of our consciousness attention on
his
and
favored
integrated
method of
harmoniously
self-development,
into our character
which he
structure,
called
the process
in
of
the brevity of a
individuation.
human
life. We can only ever approach,
To individuate
but
is
never
to
fully
self-realize
realize
with
the
the
condition
aim
of
of moving
moving
toward
toward
psychological
wholeness. But moving in this
Wholeness
direction
is an
generates
ideal
fulfillment,
state,
wherein
and leads
all
to
our
the
latent
cultivation of a
potentials are
character that is
actualized
rooted
in our and all the elements of our unconscious
and which
brought to the light of
transcends
consciousness
mere social
and
roles
integrated
and the
harmoniously
expectations of
into
our
our
peer
character
group and
society
society
at
at
large. In the brevity of a
As Jung
human life,
explains,
we can only ever
individuation
approach, but
means
never becoming an individual, the condition of psychological wholeness. Insofar as individuality embraces our direction generates fulfillment and incomparable uniqueness of a character that is rooted in our individuality, one's own self, and which we could therefore translate individuation as coming to selfhood. Individuation as a method of self-development offers many benefits over following the well-worn paths of conformity. Firstly, this process makes us more capable in life. For as we aim towards psychological wholeness, we increase the number of skills and character traits at our disposal, and so augment our capacity to take advantage of life's opportunities and to deal with its problems. Individuation is also an effective antidote to diseases of despair, be it anxiety disorders, neuroses, depressions, or certain forms of addiction. For while these conditions can stem from a myriad of causes, one of the most common is an unlived life, or the feeling that we are stagnating, in conjunction with a nagging awareness of our ever-approaching death. Individuation forces us out of these ruts of being and places us on a life path that is both purposeful and meaningful. A further benefit of individuation is that a byproduct of approaching the state of psychological wholeness is the spontaneous formation of an attitude that affirms life, and which, in the words of Jung, is beyond the reach of emotional entanglements and violent shocks. A consciousness detached from the world. Or as Jung writes elsewhere, if you sum up what people tell you about their experiences on the path of individuation, you can formulate it this way. They came to themselves. They could accept themselves. They were able to become reconciled to themselves, and thus were reconciled to adverse circumstances and events. To attain the benefits of individuation requires that we take a step that is simple in theory, but difficult in practice. We must focus our attention selfward, and in the most objective manner possible, assess our life and the current state of our character. Wisdom begins only when one takes things as they are, explains Jung. So it is a healing attitude when one can agree with the facts as they are. Only then can we thrive. A radical self-acceptance is needed to individuate. This entails identifying and accepting our character flaws and weaknesses, but also our talents and strengths. It requires an acceptance of past mistakes and failures, and a clear grasp of the current conditions of our life in the recognition that we cannot go forward except from the place where we happen to be. And perhaps most importantly, we need to accept that there exists a vast potential within us, and that the possibilities for our development are endless. Or as Jung writes, since the growth of personality comes out of the unconscious, which is by definition unlimited, the extent of the personality, now gradually realizing itself, cannot in practice be limited either. But while self-acceptance is a preparatory step on the path of individuation, it is also a step that, in and of itself, produces strong therapeutic benefits. In volume 13 of his collected works, Jung quotes a letter from one of his patients about the inner change that occurs when one comes to accept him or herself. Out of evil, much good has come to me. By keeping quiet, repressing nothing, remaining attentive, and by accepting reality, taking things as they are, and not as I wanted them to be. By doing all this, unusual knowledge has come to me, and unusual powers as well, such as I could never have imagined before. I always thought that when we accepted things, they overpowered us in some way or other. This turns out not to be true at all, and it is only by accepting them that one can assume an attitude towards them. In addition to self-acceptance, Jung also advocates an increased acceptance of those close to us, particularly our family members. Jung maintained that far too many people waste far too much time in the tangles of what he called the boring family drama. Unless we have suffered a traumatic experience that we have yet to come to terms with, it is better to accept any past mistreatment as a given condition of our life. Playing the victim, dwelling in pity or blame, trying to change another or trying to account for why we were mistreated is wasted life. But no matter how much the parents and grandparents may have sinned against the child, the man who is really adult will accept these sins as his own condition, which has to be reckoned with. Only a fool is interested in other people's guilt, since he cannot alter it. The wise man learns only from his own guilt. Practicing a radical self-acceptance in conjunction with an increased acceptance of others places us on the firm ground of reality from which to take the next step on the path of individuation. And this is to adopt a goal or life mission. I have observed, writes Jung, that a life directed to an aim is in general better, richer, and healthier than an aimless one, and that it is better to go forwards with the stream of time than backwards against it. Adopting a goal or life mission is integral to individuation, as psychological wholeness is not approached through mere passive meditation. Rather, a constant embrace of challenges leads to the actualization of our potential, and novel experiences bring unconscious contents to the light of consciousness, and it is a life mission that generates this full participation in life. What is more, a goal or mission can help pull us from the passivity of a disease of despair by diverting our focus and energy from pathological interests to more constructive and reality-based pursuits. Practical experience teaches us, as a general rule, that a psychic activity can find a substitute only on the basis of equivalence. A pathological interest, for example, an intense attachment to a symptom, can be replaced only by an equally intense attachment to another interest. So as not to be delayed at the step of choosing a goal or life mission, we should realize that there is no single right choice. Psychological wholeness can be approached from many angles, so we just need to find something that is intrinsically rewarding enough to keep us motivated, and challenging enough to create the novel experiences necessary for self-realization. But like all major life decisions, in choosing a mission, we must be the one to decide. We should not rely on others to choose for us. For as Jung writes, "Why are you looking around for help? Do you believe that help will come from outside? What is to come is created in you and from you. Hence, look into yourself. Do not compare, do not measure. No other way is like yours. All other ways deceive and tempt you. You must fulfill the way that is in you." With a mission in hand, we merely need to work towards its achievement in a consistent and disciplined manner in order to individuate. Or as Jung writes, "How are you fulfilling your life's task, your mission, your raison d'etre, the meaning and purpose of your existence?" This is the question of individuation, the most fateful of all questions. To avoid being thrown off course, we should be aware that as we walk the path of individuation, we will encounter setbacks and failures and make mistakes and errors. But these experiences should not discourage us, for as Jung wrote, we must make mistakes. We must live out our own vision of life. If you avoid error, you do not live. In a sense, even it may be said that every life is a mistake, for no one has found the truth. It is also useful to keep in mind that individuation does not free us from the conditions of human existence. We will still be